Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things. We are wandering through all of the cards that I have made that I did not get videos for due to my very busy February schedule. So there are so many now. I'm on number 13 and I have given this a name. I'm going to call this March Madness. So I'm stealing the phrase and I still have so many cards left. It's amazing. So I'm going to try my hardest to get them posted as close to one per day as possible. I don't think I have quite, this is already March 2nd, and yesterday I posted, it was a Wednesday, and I posted what I called episode 3 of the winter series that I do. Only I missed February by one day, and it really technically was episode 2. So I owe you guys another winter episode, but I think I'm going to just continue on March Madness for the full month of March and catch up on all of the projects that I have been doing, with this one being not just a walkthrough. I have a demo of a product. This particular card that I'm going to share with you was done at one of the Stampin Up Demonstrator events hosted by Stampin Up, and during these events, which are in person as well as online, you have all of these different demonstrators from around the world who received product early for the next catalog. So this person created a card using the, let's see, I gotta find it for you. I guess I wasn't as prepared as I thought. I think it's Sweet Citrus. I'm going to look for it. I'm going to pause and come right back. All right, so I found them. What I'm going to share with you next uses Sweet Citrus. It uses not these pieces, which are the citrus part, but it takes the exterior rind pieces and we are going to make coconuts out of them. And then I use the Wishing You a Warm and Beachy Kind of Day and Happy Birthday from Paradise Palms. So, first things first, there is a product in the annual catalog that I bought because I could not figure out exactly what it was. It is called linen. And I'm going to cut a piece of this. When you feel it, it feels like linen on the front, and on the back it has a paper. So when you peel it apart, because it is pull apart. In fact, I didn't know it was a pull apart till I actually tried to use it on something, and it started to, oh, I die cut with it. And I didn't even know that it is two separate pieces. This part is sticky, and it is actual really linen. So the card has some pretty detailed instructions, and for this step you will need craft glasses and the take your pick tool with the poker tool. And what you do, I almost want to get it super close for you, but I want it close to me, so I'm going to look for some sort of supporting box so that you can see it close up. All right, so using your craft glasses and the poker part of the tool, you can see up close the linen thread lines, and there's some advice on how best to start, but you literally are going to take and start pulling one row at a time. I have found that you really only want one row. It gets easier as you go, and if it's crooked, like this one isn't perfectly straight, you can see that it's kind of angled where now we have a fringe up at the top, but we don't want to have it at the bottom. So your goal is to make this look like a naturally fringed, say a rug. And this one's very crooked, but as you go, this one's actually going easier, but that's because I struggled through the first one and understand best how it works. All right, so you can pretty quickly move along and generate a wonderful fringed rug. So this, and then I haven't figured out if you can use any of these. These are all sticky, so I'm not sure that they are good for anything. And then as you keep going along, you'll finally get enough of a fringe border. You do want to be careful of having it curl up like that. It is an adhesive, so I'm using, you can use your silicone mat to apply this because it is sticky, and you do not want to put it on paper so that it, you want to keep the sticky, and you want to be able to move it around while you're preparing it and making it look like a rug. So you can hopefully see what I'm doing here, because I don't want to spend too much time on this. So you just go around until you have a nice equal amount of fringe. If it's really crooked, you keep going deeper, and then in the end, which is what I did, you will cut off the excess and make it a straight square rug. So that is what it looks like with just a minute or two of work. We will come back to that in a minute. And then the final thing that I need to do for this card, because the card has all the pieces made, and I have not done the final assembly yet. The demonstrator called for a shimmering white because all of her steps include aqua painter painting the different pieces. So this was her instructions were to use an aqua painter, and I'm going to try instead to just use a dauber, and I'm going to start with Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to just quickly get this colored, and I'm not going to do the wet technique. So I used the shimmery white. It's a heavier cardstock, so it has a nice weight to it, and when you work it like this, it's a more sturdy paper to do different treatments to. So I'm going to now shift to Garden Green and try to get the edges dark. That's looking nice. And then I will bring the card starting at the bottom layers. This is definitely an Avid card, which is my kind of card. I love them. The more elaborate, the better. Okay, so that's all I need to do for those. I'm going to bring on and talk about the bottom two layers. So I've put it on early espresso because the coconut that I stamped goes nicely, so it's going to have a matte. So this particular citrus sheet, before it was citrusy, I went ahead and used the blending brushes and did Tahitian Tide Ombre Dark to Light. Then, as you can see, here is what I did. This is not my treatment. This is what was called for in the pin, so I did not create this. With the sticky, you are able to manipulate, and I think I manipulated my piece many times. So you just set down the first part, the left side, and what I did was I did a fold, and then I moved along, so I got my fold going, trying not to be too regular about it. Then I did another lift up, and you can, I think I used my poker tool to kind of help manipulate, because this is sticky. All right, and now we're going to do a third. It's a little tricky to do. There we go, there we go. So you can see that though I did it quickly, it took, oh, I don't know, maybe at least 10 minutes to manipulate this exactly the way I wanted. These fringes are still sticky, so you can, and I already took my poker tool and kind of spread them out where they were too foldy for my liking. So you can spend as much or as little time on this little nice linen rug throw element. You can also see that when I had to trim these, it was quite a bit longer in order to get a nice straight amount of fringe on all four sides. So right here there are a couple of fringes that are longer. So if I wanted to, let's just say I did want to, though I'm fine to leave it. Just want to show you that you can be as picky as you want, and you can get in here and you can trim off your fringe to exactly what you want it to look like. So I think that the linen is fun to manipulate. I think the technique is great. And once you know what you're doing, the first time you're going to be like, this is such a waste of time. I love my Avid cards, but I'm not going to spend this much time. But now that I've done it, working with this second one, I took hardly any time at all. So I think once you understand what you're working with, you will be fine. And there's probably all sorts of extra fun things that you can do. So if you have not bought the linen, it is in the annual catalog, which is good until the end of April. So now I want to show you, we're going to build up our card. Take this aside. See how it peels up? So this piece I'm going to set aside to use for another project. Okay, so I told you I put it on early espresso to match the coconut. I talked about how I did the ombre with the blending brush. If you wanted to, this is a water-based ink. You could do water droplets, you could do splatters, you could do all sorts of fun treatments in the background. Then I have my coconut. So the coconuts called for, you have to do the illusion of depth because the coconut has the white meat part that is only so deep, maybe 1/4 inch or a little bit thicker. So this is just manipulated with very light smoky slate using a water painter, and it is the shimmery white. I would not do this same treatment on the regular basic white. So we've got these pieces. They are going to be on top of each other. You do also have to take the rind and do a little work. This was done again with an aqua painter with early espresso, or it might have even not been early espresso because it looks like it's a really dark soft suede to me. So I think I took soft suede and I went ahead and made the little fringy hairs on the end of the coconut. Then I did the fun part. So we have these leaves that are part of the citrus pack, and she turned them into plumeria. So I did it with blends, and this is on the shimmery white. Look up plumerias and what they look like to see if I did an okay job of having the cupped, they're these little cupped, curled, very regular shaped leaves, or petals, I should say. So this was with, I used pale papaya, light and dark, and polished pink, light and dark. And she calls for using an aqua painter and those inks. I just grabbed my blends. And then in the middle, to get the middle the way it looks, I just took the colorless blender and set it in the middle and just let it push the color away. Again, my philosophy with alcohol markers, when you're using the colorless blender or color lifter, to me it pushes the color through the paper to the backside. So I did a lot of manipulating of these flowers to get them all to look the way they look. They're all a little bit different. So these actually go, then I did the leaves, and the leaves I did a die cut. First I did a stamping. On the stamp I inked it up with Granny Apple Green, and then I edged it with Garden Green. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little assembly here of these pieces. You saw me do these fern fronds. These are from the... Now where did I set them? My goodness. Here we go. Paradise Palms. Paradise Palms has the ferny leaf. And this assembly style, these are all her pieces. I did not alter anything except the sentiment. I used my own sentiment from the Paradise Palms. She used some other sentiment from the Sweet Citrus set. So all I have left to do here is to redo my layout. And where it really gets to be interesting is when you put these very cute. So I did Wishing You a Warm and Beachy, and I cut off the bottom row. And that I have up here. And then I cut out birthday and got rid of the word happy. And that's going to be down here. And I want to have a little flower there. I have not even thought, once I get this all tacked down, I have not really thought through what I want for trim and embellishment. If I'm going to do bling, if I'm not going to do bling. And I want to, oops, I can still stay. So I hope that you're seeing my vision of the slightly altered from her. I will have the pin. I have to go find the pin. And you've got these, you're working with these layers, so this bottom leaf will definitely have to be popped up. All right, so there's what we've got. So this again is my March Madness episode 13 using the Sweet Citrus and Paradise Palms set, both of them available through April. I discussed the linen. Can't think of anything else that I am missing. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can leave them here on this video or over on my blog. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.